Papoose is a fraud, and by the time this video is done, that statement is going to hit harder than a Bronx block party at midnight in the middle of July. Before we go 1 inch deeper into this story, welcome back, family, because for every certified clout chaser I am about to drag into the light today, I hope every single one of you watching is doing beautifully, breathing easy, and locking in for what may be one of the most explosive breakdowns this channel has ever delivered. This is going to be one of those videos. One of those uncut, unfiltered, uncompromising, no-holds-barred videos where the mask just slips clean off, and Papoose gets exposed for the fake stunting, finger-waving, wave-riding, private jet cosplaying performer he has always been. And you already know the drill. Smash that like button. Not gently. Not politely. I want you to punish that like button, because we are about to lock arms as a community and send a clear signal to a group of rented cheerleaders who think Papoose is running Wynn Records. He is not. And I am going to prove it, and I am going to prove it, and I am going to prove it again, so relentlessly, so surgically, so undeniably, that even the most delusional Papoose patrol will have absolutely nowhere left to hide. Also, while you are here, subscribe to the channel if you have not, because trust me on this one, the way this story is about to unfold today, you do not want to miss a single second of what is coming. Every twist gets sharper. Every layer gets uglier. Every claim gets louder. Every receipt gets heavier. And by the end, you are going to understand why Papoose is not the executive he wants you to think he is, why Claressa Shields is nothing but a stepping stone in this whole circus, and why baby Ponytail, sweet, glittery, filter-drenched baby Ponytail, has become the copy queen of an entire era. Now, hear me out, because we cannot understand the depth of this fraud without first zooming out and looking at the entire machine. The entire pretending machine. Because that is exactly what this is. It is not a career. It is not a legacy. It is not a title. It is a machine. A carefully constructed, painfully obvious, algorithmically sponsored illusion I am calling the Wynn Records illusion machine, and Papoose is the mannequin standing in the front window with a plastic smile and a rented lifestyle stitched to his shirt. Look at what this man has done in the last 72 hours alone. Papoose posts himself standing near a private jet. Not on it. Not inside it. Not near the wing. Near a fence. A fence, family. A fence. Papoose is out here posing next to a fence, hoping, praying, begging you to believe that this is his lifestyle now, that Papoose flies private, that Papoose rolls with the presidents of major labels, that Papoose is one of them, one of the big dogs, one of the untouchables, one of the certified movers and shakers of the industry. But Papoose is not one of them. Papoose is not even close to one of them. Papoose is an employee. Not a co-owner. Not a co-founder. Not a shareholder. Not a stakeholder. An employee. And here is where the whole game reveals itself, because the way Papoose was moving in that clip, the way Papoose was standing 30 feet from the aircraft, the way Papoose was breathing next to the door but never stepping inside, the way Papoose let another man walk the frame while he tried to steal a fraction of a moment near the tail, the way Papoose kept his hands close to his body like he was afraid security would tap his shoulder, tells you everything you need to know about how far Papoose has climbed and how far Papoose has not. Because a real private jet flyer does not stand outside like a tourist at a monument. A real private jet flyer does not shoot the video from a 100-foot buffer zone. A real private jet flyer does not smile at the camera like they just won an Uber promo code. A real private jet flyer does not narrate the moment like they are auditioning for a paid brand deal. Papoose looked like a boy visiting his father at work. Papoose looked like a man on a middle school field trip. Papoose looked like the intern that got invited one time and never let it go. Papoose looked like every single person you have ever seen at a car show taking pictures next to Lamborghinis they will never own. And the Wynn cheerleaders? The Wynn cheerleaders ate it up. They ate it up like Papoose just flew Papoose to Dubai. They ate it up like Papoose personally acquired the fleet. They ate it up like the caption said, signed the deal, brought the plane home. But not us, family. Not us. We see it. We see all of it. We see through it. We see past it. We see the frame. We see the distance. We see the strategic angle. We see everything. Now, listen closely, because this is where the layers really start to snap into place. If Papoose was truly a certified private jet flyer, why is Papoose not waving his fingers? You know exactly what I mean. That signature finger wave Papoose has been doing since 2005. That is Papoose's autograph. That is Papoose's brand. That is Papoose. It is the same finger wave from the K-Slay mixtapes. It is the same finger wave from the Alchemist verses. It is the same finger wave from the What's My Name music video. That finger wave is Papoose. It is DNA. It is muscle memory. It is who Papoose is when the cameras roll. And yet, in the clip that was supposed to elevate Papoose to a new elite tier, Papoose held his hand down. Papoose let the finger stay still. Papoose looked stiff, cautious, tense, calculated. Papoose looked like a man who had been coached. Coached to blend in. Coached to look normal. Coached to erase every trace of the corner store, mixtape era, DVD hustling Papoose the streets remember. And that? That is the biggest tell of them all. Because you cannot erase who you are, Papoose. You cannot audition your way into a lifestyle that was never yours. You cannot brand yourself as an executive by standing near a jet you did not pay for. You cannot rewire 20 years of instinct in a single afternoon photo shoot. And I promise you, if you followed Papoose long enough, you know that the finger wave is a compulsion. Papoose cannot help himself. Papoose has been waving fingers for 2 decades. Papoose has waved fingers in interviews, in verses, in music videos, in freestyles, in radio drops, at his wife, at his kids, at cameras that were not even on. And now, suddenly, Papoose is composed? Suddenly Papoose is corporate? Suddenly Papoose is boardroom ready? Come on. Come on, family. That is not evolution. That is performance. That is a rented persona. That is a man playing dress up in an office suit while the real Papoose is screaming from underneath, banging against the walls, begging to be let out to wave the finger one more time. Let us keep going, because Papoose is not the only one taking losses in this household. No, no, no. Baby Ponytail is running the loss column right along with him. Baby Ponytail is doubling up. Baby Ponytail is stacking L's like poker chips at a Vegas table. And it pains me to say this, because I remember the Terror Squad glory days, I remember the raw talent, I remember the mic-shattering verses, I remember when Baby Ponytail was untouchable and hungry and unbeatable on a track. But the truth is the truth. Baby Ponytail has become the copy queen of the entire generation. That is a heavy title. That is a serious title. That is a title I do not throw around loosely. But look at the evidence. Look at the receipts. Look at what has been happening in the shadows while Papoose runs around pretending he owns a jet. Remy Ma dropped an interview with Angie Martinez recently, an interview that was framed, promoted, titled, and marketed around one single phrase, Remy Ma's soft girl era. Soft girl era. Those are Remy Ma's words. Remy Ma said it. Remy Ma owned it. Remy Ma monetized it. Remy Ma turned it into a whole cultural moment. Remy Ma leaned into it with dancers, choreography, floral outfits, softer visuals, softer sound. Remy Ma made Soft Girl Era a headline. And what does Baby Ponytail do exactly 7 days later? 7 days. That is not even a week. Baby Ponytail posts a caption calling herself, and I quote, a real soft girl. A real soft girl. As if there was ever a version of this story where Baby Ponytail thought of that phrase first. As if we, the audience, are so foolish that we would not notice. As if Remy Ma had not just held the internet by the neck with that same phrase 4 scrolls above Baby Ponytail on the timeline. Are you dumb? Are you dumb, Baby Ponytail? Because the answer, based on the evidence, is looking suspiciously close to yes. And this is not the first time. This is not even the 5th time. This is not even the 10th time. This is a pattern. This is a documented, undeniable, cross-referenced pattern that anybody with 2 eyes and an internet connection can trace across the last decade. When Remy Ma said, "Are you dumb?" Baby Ponytail said, "Are you dumb?" When Remy Ma leaned into her fashion evolution, Baby Ponytail leaned into her fashion evolution. When Remy Ma took a boxing photo, Baby Ponytail booked a Japanese wrestling event. When Remy Ma spoke on softness, Baby Ponytail suddenly discovered softness. Softness. Baby Ponytail. Softness. The same Baby Ponytail who was throwing hands in a ring under stage lights 3 weeks ago in front of a Japanese crowd. Baby Ponytail is not soft, family. Baby Ponytail is not soft. Baby Ponytail walks like a woman looking for a fight in a Wendy's parking lot at 2 in the morning. Baby Ponytail moves like a woman who keeps a spare weave clip in her purse for combat purposes. Baby Ponytail is not soft. Baby Ponytail is rough. Baby Ponytail is coarse. Baby Ponytail is the human embodiment of an unpaved sidewalk in the Bronx during a January freeze. And that is fine. That is even respectable. There is nothing wrong with being tough. There is nothing wrong with being loud. There is nothing wrong with being aggressive. What is not respectable, what is not fine, is pretending to be something you are not because the woman whose career you have been building on for 20 years is finally having a genuine, real, unforced moment of her own. That, family, that is the disrespect. That is the crime. That is the offense that keeps the receipts coming. Now, look, I am going to be transparent with you. I did not want to make this video. I did not. Because at this point, dragging Papoose and dragging Baby Ponytail feels almost like punching down. Almost. But here is why we have to keep the receipts flowing, why we have to keep the culture accountable, why we have to keep the record straight. Because Papoose and Baby Ponytail are not just two individuals. Papoose and Baby Ponytail are a case study. A perfect, textbook, uncut case study of what happens when two artists spend 2 decades riding the wave of a legend and start believing they were the wave the whole time. Papoose has been riding Remy Ma's slipstream since the flip phone era. Since MySpace. Since K-Slay mixtapes were still being burned onto blank CDs, Baby Ponytail has been running the same script since Papoose put a ring on it. And now that Remy Ma has stepped back, softened up, and started chasing her peace, Papoose and Baby Ponytail have panicked. Because without the shadow of Remy Ma to sit inside, Papoose and Baby Ponytail have no independent gravitational pull. None. Zero. Not 1 ounce of solo cultural weight. So what do? Papoose stages photos next to jets he does not own. Baby Ponytail steals phrases from women she cannot touch. And the whole time, the Wynn cheerleaders scream, Papoose is a mogul, Baby Ponytail is winning, the crown is theirs now, when the actual footage tells a completely different story. The actual footage tells the story of two artists desperately, frantically, transparently trying to reinvent themselves before the culture moves on and leaves them behind at a private jet fence they cannot even walk past. And speaking of footage, let us talk about the Knicks tickets. Yes, the Knicks tickets, because the Knicks tickets tell you everything about the food chain in this household. The Knicks tickets are the Rosetta Stone of the Papoose Baby Ponytail dynamic. Papoose wanted those tickets. Papoose wanted those courtside seats. Papoose wanted to walk into Madison Square Garden with a bag of cameras and a rehearsed lean and pretend, just pretend, that he belonged in the second row next to Spike Lee, next to Timothée Chalamet, next to Jay-Z. Papoose was begging like Keith Sweat. Papoose was begging like a man who forgot who he was married to. Papoose was begging like the tickets were a matter of life and death. And Baby Ponytail said no. Baby Ponytail said absolutely not. Baby Ponytail said, Papoose, I am not spending $200,000 on tickets so you can wave your fingers at Spike Lee for 4 hours. Baby Ponytail said, Papoose, watch it at home like the rest of us. And Papoose did. Papoose watched the Knicks finals from a couch. From a living room. From the exact same setup as you and I, family. Same television. Same remote. Same bag of chips. Same regular commercial breaks. And that is not shade against the couch. The couch is beautiful. The couch is loyal. The couch has never lied to anybody. But the couch is not a private jet. And a man who watches the Knicks finals from his couch does not get to post pictures next to a Gulfstream 3 weeks later like he woke up on the Forbes list overnight. That is not how life works. That is not how credibility works. That is not how the audience works. And that is not how we, the people who have been watching Papoose for 20 years, work. We remember. We remember all of it. We remember the couch. We remember the tickets. We remember every single one of these moments. Now, look at the pattern. Papoose is not the first artist to try this maneuver. There is a long, storied, painfully public history of rappers standing next to jets that do not belong to them. Standing next to cars that do not belong to them. Standing next to jewelry that was rented for the weekend. Standing next to yachts that belonged to somebody else's uncle. Standing next to mansions that were rented for the shoot day. And every single time, the audience clocks it. Every single time. Because there is a rhythm to the real thing. There is a texture. There is a body language. There is a signature. The real jet-setters do not point at the plane. The real jet-setters do not smile at the tail. The real jet-setters do not frame the aircraft like it is a wedding photo. The real jet-setters treat the jet like furniture. Like an office chair. Like a coffee mug. Like something so normal, so daily, so unremarkable, that pointing it out would be embarrassing to them. Diddy did not point at his planes. Jay-Z did not point at his planes. Drake, before all his other issues in the current era, did not point at his planes. 50 Cent did not point at his planes. Even artists 3 tiers below those names did not point at their planes. Because pointing at a jet is the universal, undeniable, screamingly obvious signal that the jet is not yours. It is the tell. It is the giveaway. It is the fingerprint of the fraud. And Papoose pointed. Papoose pointed hard. Papoose pointed like a 5-year-old at an aquarium seeing his first shark. Papoose pointed like he had just discovered aviation for the first time in human history. And the entire internet caught it. And the entire internet is talking about it. And Papoose still has not deleted the post. Still. Which means either Papoose does not know he got caught, or Papoose does not care he got caught, or Papoose thinks the Wynn cheerleaders will drown out the truth. All 3 options are catastrophic for the brand Papoose is trying to build. Now, hear me out, because I want to be fair for a moment. I want to give Papoose a runway. I want to give Papoose the benefit of the doubt. I want to give Papoose the fairest possible reading of this footage. Maybe Papoose was flying private that day. Maybe Papoose was legitimately in that terminal for a legitimate flight. Maybe Papoose was a guest of the Wynn Records executive. Cool. Fine. Beautiful. Wonderful for Papoose. But then why the framing? Why the pose? Why the strategic distance? Why the "we out here" caption? Why the whole choreographed sequence designed to imply ownership when even the most generous reading of the footage is that Papoose was a passenger on somebody else's dime? That is where Papoose loses me, family. That is where Papoose loses all of us. Because there is a way to enjoy a private jet ride you did not pay for. You post a smile. You thank the host. You tag the label. You keep it moving. You do not stage a photo shoot pretending you are the pilot, the owner, the CEO, and the sky itself. That is delusion. That is cosplay. That is what a man does when the mask has become the face and the face has forgotten there was ever anything underneath. That is the moment where the illusion machine takes over and the human being disappears. And this brings us to Claressa Shields, because Claressa Shields is the newest and possibly saddest piece of this entire puzzle. Papoose brought Claressa Shields into the Wynn Records orbit. Papoose is co-managing Claressa Shields' music aspirations. Papoose is running around the industry telling every microphone in earshot that Papoose discovered Claressa Shields, molded Claressa Shields, unlocked Claressa Shields, blessed Claressa Shields, elevated Claressa Shields. And listen, Claressa Shields is a champion. Claressa Shields is a real, decorated, undefeated, unimpeachable, undisputed champion in her actual sport. Boxing. 2-time Olympic gold. Multiple world titles. Legendary work ethic. Legendary chin. Legendary heart. But music? Music is a different arena. Music does not care about your gold medals. Music does not care about your Netflix documentary. Music cares about the song. Music cares about the ear. Music cares about the hook. Music cares about whether the audience presses play a second time. And Papoose, of all people, should know that. Papoose, The artist who has spent 2 decades trying to convert street credibility into commercial traction and mostly failing, should be the last person on earth telling Claressa Shields that a couple of bars and a Wynn Records logo will change her career. Because if that formula worked, Papoose would already be a superstar. Papoose would be on the Rolling Stone cover. Papoose would be headlining Rolling Loud. Papoose would be a Grammy nominee. And Papoose is not a superstar. Papoose is an employee. An employee who cannot even convince the internet that he flew private for one afternoon. Now, I want to zoom out even further, because there is a bigger truth underneath all of this, and it is the truth I have been trying to tell you the entire video. The truth is that Papoose and baby Ponytail are trapped inside a shadow they can never escape, and the shadow is Remy Ma. And Remy Ma has done nothing to cast that shadow. Remy Ma has been graceful. Remy Ma has been quiet. Remy Ma has been focused on peace, on softness, on healing, on evolution, on rest. Remy Ma has not weaponized a single sentence against Papoose or baby Ponytail. Remy Ma has not thrown a single subliminal. Remy Ma has not clapped back. Remy Ma has simply lived. Remy Ma has simply breathed. And that is the most devastating flex in hip-hop. Because when a woman of Remy Ma's caliber goes quiet, the imitators panic. When a woman of Remy Ma's caliber says, soft girl, the imitators say, real soft girl. When a woman of Remy Ma's caliber signs a peace treaty with her career, the imitators sign contracts with jets they cannot afford. That is the food chain. That is the ecosystem. That is the way this whole thing has always worked. And Papoose and baby Ponytail have been sitting near the bottom of that food chain for so long that they have started to convince themselves the ground level is a penthouse. They have started to believe the basement is a suite. They have started to think riding the train is the same as owning the train. And here is the part that ties every single thread together, because I know you are wondering how all of this connects, why this all matters, why I have spent this much time laying it out. It connects like this. Every time Papoose stages a photo, every time baby Ponytail steals a caption, every time the Wynn cheerleaders scream about a moment that never happened, they are proving Remy Ma's genius. They are proving her instincts. They are proving her decision to step back was the smartest business move of her generation. Because while Papoose is chasing planes and baby Ponytail is chasing captions, Remy Ma is building something Papoose and baby Ponytail will never have, a life outside the algorithm. A life where the peace is real, the softness is real, the growth is real. Not a costume. Not a phrase. Not a photo op. A real, breathing, unshakable identity. And that, family, that is the ultimate stunt. That is the ultimate flex. That is the ultimate power move. Because you cannot fake peace. You cannot Photoshop softness. You cannot filter serenity. You cannot pose next to a jet and buy a soul. Now let me get to the piece of information I have been holding in my back pocket. Because this is the moment. This is the reveal. Ready? Papoose was reportedly not even scheduled to be at the Wynn Records event that day. Papoose was a +1. Papoose was invited late. Papoose was the guy in the group photo you have to squint to notice. Sources close to the situation say the private jet in the frame belonged to a Wynn Records partner, not Wynn Records itself, and Papoose was standing next to it purely as a photo opportunity that another executive coordinated. That is why the finger did not wave. That is why the pose was so tight. That is why the distance was so exact. Papoose was told, and I mean literally instructed, do not touch the aircraft, do not walk onto the tarmac, do not approach the crew, do not act like you are affiliated with the ownership, do not caption anything that implies you paid for this. Papoose was on a leash. Papoose was on protocol. Papoose was on a script written by somebody else's PR team. And Papoose still tried to spin it into an executive origin story. That is not just cap. That is not just stunting. That is not just wave riding. That is theater. That is production. That is a scripted, staged, choreographed illusion delivered to the timeline like it was breaking news. And the audience has front row seats, and the audience is not clapping. The audience is laughing. The audience is screenshotting. The audience is duetting. The audience is dragging Papoose across every platform simultaneously. And this is why we, the culture, have to keep our eyes open. Because the industry is packed with performers pretending to be executives, employees pretending to be owners, copyists pretending to be originators, and cheerleaders pretending to be journalists. And if we do not call it out, if we do not sit here on days like today and lay it out sentence by sentence, receipt by receipt, moment by moment, then the illusion becomes the record. And the record cannot become an illusion. The record has to be the truth. The record has to be verifiable. The record has to be honest. So here is the record. Papoose is an employee. Baby Ponytail is an imitator. Remy Ma is a legend. Wynn Records is a functioning company that gave Papoose a nice title. Claressa Shields is a boxing champion who deserves a better music strategist. And the private jet in the photo? Not his. Never was. Never will be. And if any of that hurts, I understand. But hurt is not the same as false. And nothing I just said is false. Every syllable of this video can be verified with a phone and a 2-minute search. Every syllable. Every claim. Every sentence. So where do we go from here? What happens next? Well, that depends on Papoose. Papoose can do the responsible thing. Papoose can delete the post. Papoose can post a self-aware caption. Papoose can laugh at himself. Papoose can walk back into the studio and let his talent, which he genuinely has, do the talking. Papoose can be the elder statesman he keeps auditioning to be. Papoose can pivot, adjust, recalibrate, and rebuild. Or Papoose can double down. Papoose can post another jet photo. Papoose can wave his fingers louder. Papoose can send Baby Ponytail out to copy another Remy Ma caption. Papoose can drag Claressa Shields deeper into a music career she may or may not be ready for. Papoose can keep pretending until the pretending is the only thing left, until the mask has fused to the face and the man underneath has been forgotten by everybody, including himself. And listen, whichever direction Papoose picks, I will be right here to document it. I will be right here to break it down. I will be right here to remind the internet what is real, what is fake, what is legacy, and what is theater. Because that is the job. That is the culture. That is the record. That is why this channel exists. And before we close, family, I want to spend one more minute on Remy Ma, because Remy Ma deserves that minute. Remy Ma has been in this game since before most of the current generation even knew what hip-hop was. Remy Ma survived a prison sentence and came back stronger. Remy Ma survived the shifting tides of the industry and came back sharper. Remy Ma survived being underestimated, underpaid, undermined, and underappreciated, and Remy Ma still stands on top of the mountain today. Remy Ma is the reason Baby Ponytail has anything resembling a national profile. Remy Ma is the reason Papoose has anything resembling a Rolodex. Remy Ma is the wave that made Papoose and Baby Ponytail surfers. And now, in her soft girl era, Remy Ma is quietly, gracefully, effortlessly reminding everyone who the real one is. Not through dices. Not through subliminals. Not through interviews designed to provoke. Just through living. Just through peace. Just through the flowers she is choosing to give herself while Papoose and Baby Ponytail are still trying to arrange bouquets for cameras that stopped caring years ago. And that, family, is the ultimate lesson in this entire circus. You cannot outrun your own truth. You cannot outpose your own reality. You cannot outcaption your own credibility. The internet remembers. The audience remembers. The culture remembers. And when the mask slips, whether at a private jet fence, in a soft girl caption, in a Knicks finals from the couch confession, in a Claressa Shields management pitch that goes nowhere, the truth walks up, taps the shoulder, and says, quietly, we saw you. And once the culture sees you, family, there is no unsee button. There is no delete button. There is no filter that saves you. There is only the record. And the record does not forgive. The record does not lie. The record does not forget. The record just is. And today, the record on Papoose is simple. He is an employee. He is a finger waver. He is a wave rider. He is a jet-adjacent poser. He is a man who watched the Knicks finals from a couch. He is not a private jet flyer. He is not a co-owner of Wynn Records. He is not the executive he wants you to think he is. He is not the mogul the Wynn cheerleaders scream he is. He is Papoose. Talented. Historic. Notable. But not what the current post is pretending he is. So tell me, in the comments, right now, what is your take on this entire circus? Do you buy the Papoose executive story? Do you think Baby Ponytail is genuinely evolving, or are we watching one of the longest copy-paste operations in modern hip-hop? Do you think Claressa Shields is going to break through the Wynn Records glass ceiling or get chewed up by an industry that has no patience for crossover experiments? And most importantly, are you tired of watching artists who once had real credibility traded in for photo ops and jet-adjacent poses? Let me know. Let me know loud. Let me know unfiltered. Let me know without any Wynn cheerleaders in your ear telling you what to think. Because the comments section on this video is going to be legendary, and I do not want you to miss a single line of it. I want you in there. I want you responding. I want you tagging. I want you sharing. I want you clipping. I want you replaying. Because this is one of those cultural moments, family. This is one of those days where the truth comes out and the whole timeline shifts a couple degrees. Also, if you made it this deep into the video, you are officially part of the family. You are officially the ones who saw it before the rest of the internet. You are officially the day one witnesses when the Papoose illusion machine finally cracked. So smash that like. Subscribe if you have not. Turn on notifications. And check the end screen right now, because I have a follow-up video queued up that goes even deeper into the Wynn Record structure and answers the one question I did not answer today. And to quote a wise man from an old block, the mask just slipped, family. The mask just slipped. Look at it while it is still on the floor. Because tomorrow, Papoose might pick it back up and pretend it never fell. And the finger might start waving again. And the jet might get another photo op. And Baby Ponytail might drop another stolen caption. And the Wynn cheerleaders might scream a little louder. But we will be here. We will be watching. We will be documenting. We will be remembering. Because that is what family does. And that is what this channel does. And that is exactly what the culture deserves. And listen, family, before we officially close this chapter, there is one more angle I have to spotlight, because if I do not spotlight it, somebody in the comments is going to spotlight it for me, and I would rather we get to it together. The Papoose Patrol has been running a talking point in the last 24 hours, and the talking point goes like this. They say, well, Papoose is head of hip-hop at Wynn Records, so technically Papoose is an executive. Cool. Technically. Technically Papoose has a title. Technically Papoose has a business card. Technically Papoose has an office extension. But technically is doing an Olympic-level amount of heavy lifting in that sentence, because a title is not a jet. A title is not a jet. Say that with me one more time. A title is not a jet. Papoose being head of hip-hop at Wynn Records means Papoose has a job. It does not mean Papoose owns anything. It does not mean Papoose signs the checks. It does not mean Papoose approves the budgets. It does not mean Papoose can walk into a hangar and say, gas up the plane, I am going to Miami. Papoose is a department head. Papoose runs a vertical. Papoose signs off on hip-hop facing projects. That is respectable. That is a real job. That is nothing to be ashamed of. But Papoose is not the CEO. Papoose is not the founder. Papoose is not the ownership. And there is a massive, gaping, undeniable difference between having a title and having a jet. The Papoose Patrol keeps blurring that line, and I refuse to let the line stay blurred. Because if we let that line stay blurred, then every marketing coordinator at every record label in America can start posting jet photos and claiming executive lifestyle. Every A&R with a laptop can start captioning, "We out here," next to aircraft they cannot legally board without a boarding pass. Every mid-level manager with a company Zoom account can start pretending they are Diddy in 2004. And we are not going to allow that inflation, family. We are not going to allow that lie to compound. Because language matters. Titles matter. Ownership matters. And the second we let Papoose slide on this one, we lose the entire vocabulary that separates the actual moguls from the aspirational cosplayers. That is not just a Papoose issue. That is a culture-wide issue. That is why I am spending this much time on it. Because if you do not hold the line here, on this jet, in this parking lot, next to this fence, then the line moves next week, and next month, and next year, until the whole industry is just one giant photo op of employees pretending to be owners while the real owners quietly clip coupons in penthouses nobody has ever filmed. Now, one more layer. Because I promised depth, and I am going to deliver depth. There is a specific reason Papoose is pushing this executive narrative so hard right now, and it is not because Papoose suddenly discovered corporate ambition. It is because Papoose sees the writing on the wall. Papoose sees that his run as a solo artist has hit a ceiling. Papoose sees that his commercial peak was 15 years ago and never came back. Papoose sees that Remy Ma is now the primary economic engine of the household. Papoose sees that baby Ponytail's copying strategy has an expiration date. And Papoose is doing what any human being in that position would do. Papoose is looking for a life raft. And the executive title at Wynn Records is that life raft. That is why Papoose is squeezing every drop of publicity out of it. That is why every appearance is captioned like a coronation. That is why every event is framed like a summit. Because Papoose knows that if this executive identity does not stick, if the audience does not buy it, if the industry does not confirm it, then Papoose is right back where he started, a talented, respected, technically gifted rapper who never quite crossed over. And that is a hard pill to swallow after 20 years of grinding. I get it. I feel for Papoose. I do. But the empathy does not change the receipts. The receipts are the receipts. And the receipts say Papoose was standing at a fence. And baby Ponytail, one more word for you, because you deserve a direct address at least once in this video. Baby Ponytail, the copying has to stop. Not because Remy Ma is going to say anything. Remy Ma is too soft for that now, remember? But because your own catalog, your own artistry, your own history is being buried under the shadow of every phrase you borrow. You had bars. You had presence. You had a voice. Somewhere between the filters, the glitter, the Japanese wrestling booking, the real soft girl caption, and the general Remy Ma cosplay, you have lost the plot. Find it again. Not for us. For yourself. Because right now the internet is not laughing with you. The internet is laughing at you. And that is a lonely place to build a legacy from. Trust me. I have watched a lot of artists end up there. And it rarely ends the way they hoped. So we come back to where we started, family. Full circle. The Papoose illusion machine. The Wynn cheerleaders. The finger that would not wave. The fence next to the jet. The Knicks finals watched from a couch. The Claressa Shields management pitch that reads more like a Hail Mary than a strategy. The baby Ponytail caption that landed 1 week after the woman she has been shadowing for 2 decades said the exact same phrase. All of it. One package. One story. One truth. And that truth, as I said at the very top of this video, is that Papoose is a fraud. Not because Papoose has no talent. Not because Papoose has no history. Not because Papoose has no relevance. But because the version of Papoose currently being marketed to us is not the real Papoose. And the real Papoose is more interesting, more honest, more valuable than the executive cosplay that the Wynn Records illusion machine is trying to sell us. Give us the real one. Retire the mask. Let the finger wave. And we will meet you in the comments.